Good morning, children. Yesterday, we had discussed story writing. We had discussed a story which had been given in your class 8. So, we had discussed some other stories. Today, we are going to discuss story writing about the places where should be we alert and careful when we write a story. There are 5 to 6 points which we must keep in our mind to write a good story. A story writing is an art. To write a good story, one must have the whole plot clear in one's mind. Remember the word plot. So, this point is very important. What happens after that? This is very important. The taste of a good story is that it should hold the reader's attention. This is the second point. You know, everyone likes a story. Generally, children demand from their parents to tell a story. So, this should be interesting. So, this must hold the reader's attention. Now, there are some points where we must discuss. Before beginning to write, have a clear idea of the plot. Yesterday, in our previous period or discussion, we had discussed how a fox is there in a well. He drank water. And now he, he was thinking to come out of the well. By chance, a goat came there. The goat was thirsty. The goat asked about the fox, about the taste of water. So, these things are there. These are the plots. So, be careful about this. Your story should be logical. What you should have in your you, in your mind that must come in your story step by step. So you must know how the story is going to end. From beginning to end, there should be a plan in your mind. If you can start well and end well, your story will certainly be a good one. So keep in your mind, there should be a plot from beginning to end. There should be a clear-cut picture in your mind. Second thing, you may insert dialogues wherever possible. You have read many stories in Hindi or English or in Sanskrit. So, sir, somewhere you can see the dialogues told by the characters in inverted commas. Yes, the sentences which are written in inverted commas, you should be clear that they are dialogues. So never hesitate to write a dialogue if it is possible. They certainly make the story interesting. These dialogues must be short, lively, and interesting. Third point, give names to characters. Yes. Can you remember? Shakespeare was, I mean, William Shakespeare wrote many dramas. I think more than 2000 of characters he imagined. So, this is true for you. You have to think about the characters. In the story which I had discussed you yesterday, the fox is a character, the goat is a character. There are two characters in the story. There were two characters in the story. So, in the same way, you have to think about the characters and you have to name them. Even animals can have names if it is possible. These names should be short and interesting. You can remember any story which you have studied in your previous classes or in the present class. Every story has some characters and names are there. Let your story be not unduly long. What is needed? You are asked to write your story in 150 to 200 words. Yes. So then your story should be limited as per instruction of the question paper. Your story, you know, generally in CBSE examination, You are told to write your story in 150 to 200 words. Yes. Next, give a suitable title to your story. Sometimes it is not given in the question. Write the title, but you remember this. You keep in your mind that I have to write the title of the story. You may name it after the main character, object, incident, or a proverb. Last, write the story in the past tense. Generally, the story just start with the word once upon a time there was a king. There was a king, was past tense. So write your story in past tense. So these three, four, 5 points should be there in your mind. First, plot. Second, name of characters. Third, story should be written in past tense. Next, your story should be interesting. Your story should have dialogues. And you have to write your diary in 150 to 200 words. And what is most important, give the a title to suitable title to your story. There is a question for you. Write a story in 200 to 250 words. I think a person who can write in 150 words to 200 words, he can write 200 to 250 words, no problem. Words using the following clues. This question has been asked in CBSE examination 2019. Your parents had gone out of town to attend a wedding marriage party. You were alone at home, watching your late night favorite serial. In your television, a loud knock on your door. Loud knock. This may be an unwanted situation. Parents have gone out of the house to attend marriage. You are viewing or watching the serial, your favorite serial. And what comes before you? An unwanted situation. What is the unwanted situation? A loud noise. This will put you in surprise. Now, the answer has been given. You can be serious to see this. It was a rare occasion. First of all, the title is they were saving a child. Yes. It was a rare occasion. My parents had gone out of town to attend the wedding of a distant relative in Delhi. They wanted me to also accompany them, but I had declined the offer. I was more interested in watching my favorite late night serials. At 10 o'clock, I was in my bedroom with TV on. Soon I was lost in the story. My concentration was broken by an unexpected sound. There was someone knocking on the door of the house. The writer thinks himself, who could it be? This is a dialogue. Who could it be? I thought. I was not quite willing to open the door all at once. This is common. Okay. The writer thinks as the common people act. So I peeped through the keyhole. What I saw was quite surprising. It was only a child of about 7 to 8. As soon as I opened the door, the child rushed in and cried loudly. After closing the door, I brought some water for him. I asked to the child, "Why were you crying?" I asked the child when he had become quiet. "Uncle, I have run away from my kidnappers," replied the child. "Eh? What is your name?" I inquired. "I am Vinod. My house is in Greater Kailas, Delhi," he replied. "How come you are here?" I asked surprisingly. "Today, after the school had closed for the day, I was waiting for my car. A car came, and the driver told me that my father had sent that car that day. I found no reason to disbelieve him. So I boarded the car. Soon I found that I had been brought to a new house in an unknown place. They gave me food for, but threatened me to be quiet. They took away my mobile phone from me and telephoned my father to send a ransom. रैंसम फिरौती को कहते हैं, यानी इतना पैसा दे दो. Ransom of 1 crore rupees. After a few hours, they went somewhere, locking me in the house. Fortunately, there I found a window through which I jumped, and that is how I have come here. I asked him his father's contact number. The father Mr. Vishan Lal took my address and said that he would be at my house soon. It so happened that Mr. Vishan Lal and my parents came almost at the same time. They were all very glad to see what I had done. Dear children, do you like this story? So think yourself what the question is, and you have to think about a good plot, and you have to name the characters. Some dialogues are there in the story. And after all, a person who will read your story, he will be very happy how intelligently you have composed your story. The situation and unwanted, the story starts with an unwanted situation, a loud noise at the door. But this story ends in happy mood. So keep this idea in your mind to write a good story. Now there is a second question for you. Write a story in 200 to 250 words using the following clues. You were walking hurriedly to your school as you were already late, and then you saw what? You were going to school hurriedly because you were late. This is common. And you saw something. This is the question. This question has been asked in CBSE examination year 2019. Now, read this story. This will give you an idea to write the story. Saving a life. The word saving a life, the title saving a life will come when you would work on the plot. Without plotting a story, this title will never come in your mind. Yes, always think this. You have to plan. What did you see? This point is very important. Saving a life. It was 7 o'clock. My school starts at 7:15. I feared getting late. So I was walking fast, and then I saw the scene that I would not easily forget. An elderly man was walking on his side of the road. A truck came from behind, honking loudly. Honking is producing sound, and it was loud sound. Obviously, the elderly man did not bother. because he was on the proper side of the road. The truck crushed the man and stopped only after hitting the road divider. As soon as the truck came to a halt, its driver got down and ran away before anyone could lay his hand on him. Perhaps he was drunk. This is common. I knew I had no time, but I could not stop myself from looking at the face of the elderly man who was apparently clearly dead. As soon as I saw the face, I recognized him as the electrician who often visited our house. His name was Tinku, but I did not know anything more about him. I phoned the ambulance from a pedestrian's phone and took him to the nearest hospital. I was glad to find that he had not died. I missed my school that day, but my parents praised me for what I had done. This story starts with an unwanted situation. But this is you, that you have converted this tragedy to comedy. Means you have converted this unwanted situation into a wanted situation. I think everyone praise will writing a story writing. Everyone will be happy to read your story. There is another question for you for discussion. Develop a story in 150 to 200 words with the help of the given beginning. Suggest a suitable title also. This question has also been asked by CBSE in year 2019. It was a lovely rainy day. I was enjoying a cup of tea while sitting on the balcony of my first floor flat. Suddenly I felt dizzy and the cup fell from my hand. I You have to plan. You should have to develop a plot to write your story. The situation has been given where you can imagine. But dear children, be always positive. Whenever you write a story, you should always be positive. There are many people who start with a unwanted situation, but their stories end in a wanted situation. This quality should be there in your mind. The word dizzy, that is giddiness. The state of unconsciousness is there. So you should understand the question first. Plane crash. But this title would not come you. in your mind easily. First of all, you have to plan. You have to. The plot should be there in your mind. Then the title will come in your mind. Yes. See what has been written here. It was a lovely rainy day. Sitting on the balcony of my first floor flat, I was enjoying a cup of tea while my eyes looked out on the rain. Suddenly I felt dizzy and the cup fell from my hand. I had seen in the sky an airplane flying dangerously in the sky above. Surely it was falling. It did fall as I heard a loud sound. However, it had not fallen very close to the place where I was. Picking up an umbrella, I ran to the site of the plane crash. It took me about 15 minutes to reach the ground where it had fallen. Fortunately, it had not hit any of the buildings, but fallen in an open ground. It had caught fire. People had gathered. The fire brigade had arrived. It took a lot of time and effort to extinguish the fire. When the firemen got inside, it was a very sad scene. It was a small plane with only 15 passengers inside, but they were all dead. Next, develop a story in 150 to 200 words with the help of the given beginning. Suggest a suitable title also. Rima. A 10 years old brave girl lived in a slum with her relatives. One day, when she was at home, so a plot should be there in your mind, and after plotting the story, a title will automatically come in your mind as the brave girl. Rima felt that something unusual was going to happen. Everyone in the house was talking in whispers. She knew that her uncle and aunt, with whom she was living after the death of her parents, were not happy with her, but their behavior had suddenly changed. She was given new clothes for the first time. Her breakfast usually was some stale bread, but today she was given a fresh chapati with a glass of buttermilk. Uneasy, she waited for something to happen. She heard the sound of a motor car stopping at her gate. Even a motorcycle was a rare thing in that slum. So the car attracted only not only her but even her neighbors' attention to a person, a stout looking man and an elderly lady got down from the car. They were gleefully received by Rima's uncle. The uncle took them to a corner, but Rima was watchful. She saw that the guests were giving a large sum of money to Rima's uncle, saying that it was the price that they were paying for Rima. Rima wasted no time. She did not know what the future held for her, but she quietly left the house and the slum not to let her uncle shell her. She had faith in God, dear children. Now the time is over and you can read the fifth exercise by yourself. there are some questions which are there, very important. You read by heart. And if you have any difficulty, you are free to ask me. I will send this matter on WhatsApp also, photocopy, so that you can easily read them. Thank you, children. Have a nice day. Thank you again.